Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. In this video, we're going to be doing an initial comparison between the Nike Sabrina 1 and the Nike Sabrina 2. So both of these shoes retail for 130 bucks. However, the Sabrina 1 is pretty old and it is on sale for like 100 bucks, right? 110, 100 bucks. And it was on sale earlier for like the spring sale, the Nike spring sale for like 80 bucks, which is absolutely insane. And also the GT Cut Academy is on sale for like 50 bucks. Just by the way, so if you guys do want to cop any of these shoes, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. If you choose to get any of those shoes, it does help me out if you buy it through the affiliate link in the description box or the pictures underneath this video, or I'll try to put links inside the video in the corners. But yeah, the Sabrina 2 is also available everywhere, like on Nike.com still. I just checked, like all the sizes, or most of the sizes are still available. We got like Foot Locker, we got Finish Line, you know, JD Sports, it's available everywhere. So yeah. If you guys do want to cop, again, links will be in the description box. But yeah, as you guys all know, the Sabrina 1 is a very, very nice shoe. It's just the one thing that I didn't like is the performance on dust. It just picked up a little bit of dust. I mean, it wasn't even that bad. It just, you know, more than usual and like more than shoes that are really, really nice on a dusty court still even, right? So yeah, what are the differences? Overall, I'll tell you guys right off the bat, it's a very, very similar feeling shoe, but it does seem like the Sabrina 2 is a little bit of an upgrade in a couple of departments, right? But anyways, let's get it started right off with the traction. So the traction is very similar yet very different, right? So they have like this, they're calling it the S traction pattern, obviously for Sabrina. We have a very wavy traction pattern, you know, almost like an S, very wavy. And also we have a line going down the middle of the outsole. Same thing with the Sabrina 2. We have a line going down the middle of the outsole. We have a swoosh here in the middle of the outsole as well. But yeah, it's just, this is more like herringbone. Or like a straight edged herringbone. This is more like a wavy herringbone in the Sabrina 1. But yeah, I do have a, this is like semi-translucent, and the Sabrina 2 colorway that I have, it's also semi-translucent. They have this really cool like glow to it, iridescent glow. But the Sabrina 1, like I said, when you're playing on a clean court, amazing bite, top tier traction. But if you're playing on a dusty court, does pick up a little bit of dust, you know? The Sabrina 2, I haven't played in it yet, but just on my wood floors, it has an amazing bite. And obviously I tried both of these shoes on right now, you know, on my wood floors, and they both seem to have an amazing bite. So top tier bite pretty much for the Sabrina 2 feels like so far. It's just we'll have to see on if the Sabrina 2 picks up dust, you know? Hopefully it doesn't, but you know, as you guys all know, translucent outsoles tend to pick up dust a little bit more than solid rubber, and with this colorway of the Sabrina 1 that I have, it picks up a lot less dust because it's solid, you know? And now for durability, they both seem pretty dang good, you know? The rubber is hard, the grooves are deep, and you do have a lot of surface area. There's a lot of grooves, so both of these shoes for outdoor use seem pretty dang good. And also, both of these shoes have a very nice loud high-pitched squeak, which of course has nothing to do with performance, but I feel like most hoopers like to have that squeak, and both of these shoes are pretty dang loud. But if I were to nitpick, the Sabrina 2 sounds a little bit louder and a little bit higher pitched. So there's that. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, they both feel extremely similar, right? So here in the heel, nice curved shape, fully exposed midsole pretty much, besides in the back of the heel with this rubber, with the outsole coming up a little bit. Same thing here in the Sabrina 2. However, there is no cage. It's fully exposed for the cush line, which is very, very soft. So it feels a little bit smoother here in the Sabrina 2, but the Sabrina 1 is still very nice, right? But both of these shoes, I would say the Sabrina 1 maybe, no, they're both pretty flat as far as the shape goes, right? Let's see. Yeah, it's around the same. So I don't really like that all too much. You know, I like to have a very nice curved shape, or like a rocker shape here in the forefoot. Just in my personal opinion, this is a little bit flatter for the shape for both of these shoes. Nothing terrible, of course. But yeah, also another thing, both of these shoes are not good for torsional support. Look at the bend in the midfoot for the Sabrina 1 and also the Sabrina 2, you know, and also they have a little bit of, you know, flex in both of them, you know, but the Sabrina 1 doesn't really bend as much here in the forefoot, but not super snappy for the Sabrina 1, but the Sabrina 2 feels maybe a little bit snappier. But as far as the overall heel to toe transition goes, very, very similar, right? And then moving on to the cushioning setup, also pretty much exactly the same as far as like how it feels, but the foam is different, right? So the Sabrina 1 is using React foam, and I really like React foam. It is bouncy, it's soft, and it is pretty resilient. It does last longer than most other foams. Cushlon, just regular Cushlon is not nice. Or when you first get it, it's really nice, it's soft, but it does bottom up very quickly. So, but the Sabrina 2 is using Cushlon 3.0, so we'll have to see on how it lasts, right? How long it lasts. The Sabrina 2 is using a dual density foam as well. It's like Cushlon. Like around the perimeter of the midsole, it is using a firmer Cushlon, and then in the core, it's using a softer Cushlon, but it still has really nice compression here in the heel, pretty much the exact same as the Sabrina 1. So in the heel, they're both extremely nice. There's a good amount of compression. It's just the Sabrina 1 feels a little bit bouncier, or when I was playing in it, right? Sabrina 2, I haven't played in it. We'll have to see if it's bouncy, but it just feels a little bit more soft right now, you know what I mean? But also here in the forefoot, they're both using top-loaded zoom units, and they both feel pretty much exactly the same. It's just the Sabrina 1, this shoe is a little bit more broken in, so I can feel the zoom unit a little bit more in the Sabrina 1, but the Sabrina 2, I feel like it'll probably break in the same as the Sabrina 1, right? So also, both of these shoes have very good court feel. So far, it feels pretty much exactly the same. It's just the React is a little bit bouncier in the heel so far. And now moving on to the upper. So here in the Sabrina 1, so this shoe is, I just got it. It's pretty much new. It's not super broken in, right? I played it a couple times, but this one is super broken in. And this one is really, really soft, right? I don't know if you guys can tell the difference. Like the first one, the first colorway that came out, like really soft. This one is a little bit stiffer. So once you break it in, the Sabrina 1 material gets really, really soft. It's this textile material with this really cool embroidered pattern on it, you know? But yeah, for the Sabrina 2, it's more like this, it looks like a screen mesh, but it's kind of not. It looks like a plastic screen mesh to me, and it feels really nice. It's actually a little bit softer when you first get it, or like obviously I just got this shoe in. The Sabrina 1, this is pretty new, and this is a little bit stiffer, you know? But once you break it in, the Sabrina 1, like I said, is very, very soft for the upper, and it feels pretty similar for both of these, right? As far as the toe box material goes. But the one difference is that the Sabrina 2 feels a little bit more supportive. You know, the Sabrina 1, like I said, not the most supportive material, you know, especially here in the midfoot. It is actually extremely thin and very minimal. But the Sabrina 2, you have this kind of like shiny purple material, and goes over the eyelets. Same thing here in the Sabrina 1 with this like textile material, but this textile is really, really thin, you know? So the Sabrina 2 actually feels a little bit more supportive right now. And then for the Sabrina 1, we do have some flywire, which is pretty cool. You know, they bring it back to the old school, and you can see some screen mesh here in the midfoot. The Sabrina 2 has screen mesh in the midfoot, however, it's not flywire. It's like this very thin, flimsy material with wires strapped to it. So I guess it's a type of flywire a little bit, but it's more like just the strap material, you know? But we got 2 of them on the lateral side and 2 of them on the medial side. So that's a very similar system, right? And then for the tongue, it's pretty much exactly the same. You know, there's not a lot of padding, and then they're both half booty construction tongues as well, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then also here in the ankle area, they're both very, very similar for the padding. I would say the Sabrina 2 has a little bit more padding like in the back of the heel, like where your Achilles is, but other than that, very similar, you know? So yeah, like on foot, especially here in the toe box, they're both really soft. They're both very comfortable. It's just the Sabrina 2 feels a little bit more supportive, which of course is a plus, right? And now moving on to the fit, I went up half a size for both of these shoes, and they both fit me pretty dang well, but they are a little bit long, you know what I mean? So if you do want a very snug fit lengthwise, then go true to size. However, it is a very snug fit here in the toe box, so that's why I went up half a size, right? But also for the Sabrina 1, this material does stretch out a little bit and does scrunch up. So the Sabrina 1 here in like this colorway that I've broken in, it's a little bit looser than in this colorway. This is a little bit tighter here in the toe box. But we'll have to see on how the Sabrina 2 breaks in for this material. But this like screen mesh, like plastic screen mesh material, doesn't seem like it'll get roomier that much or anything, like break in, stretch out like the Sabrina 1 with this textile, right? So yeah, they're both very, very similar fits, and also width-wise slightly narrow. So yeah, I went up half a size for both of these shoes. So there is the fit there. Moving on to the support and lockdown. So for lateral containment, my foot was not coming out of the footbed for the Sabrina 1 because we do have lateral counters, right? So here in the forefoot, the plastic does come up acting as a sidewall, and then there is an internal TPU heel counter, right? Same thing here in the Sabrina 2. We have a little bit of foam coming up acting as a sidewall here in the forefoot and an internal TPU heel counter. But like I said, the Sabrina 1, the material is extremely soft and very, very thin and minimal. So my foot was moving inside of the shoe just a tiny bit, just like the PG6, you know. So support was overall adequate, but not the best for support. But here in the Sabrina 2, like I said, it feels a little bit more rigid and a little bit more supportive. But like I said, we'll have to see on how it breaks in, because the Sabrina 1, like when I first got it, like with this newer pair, it actually does feel a lot more stiff than the first colorway that I got, you know. So we'll have to see on how the Sabrina 2 breaks in, but overall right now it does feel a little bit more supportive. And then moving on to the weight of the shoe, I'm sure the Sabrina 2 is going to be a little bit lighter, you know what I mean. Actually, let's check the Sabrina 1. Sabrina 1 is 11.8 ounces, so that's still pretty dang light. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces, so 11.8 ounces, right, versus 10.9 ounces, right? So literally almost pretty much an ounce lighter for the Sabrina 2, which is kind of insane. You know what I mean? I wonder where the weight is shedding off, you know? Maybe it's the midsole. You know, React is actually really light, but maybe the cushion line is a little bit lighter, because the overall, like, the material is also really thin and minimal in both of the shoes. So anyways, yeah, the Sabrina 2 definitely does feel a little bit lighter, but both of the shoes on foot are extremely minimal feeling, you know what I mean? So yeah, and also like I was just walking on in my apartment and they both felt really, really similar on foot. So there is the weight there. Moving on to the aesthetics, I don't know, I feel like the Sabrina 2 looks better. No? Sabrina 1 or the Sabrina 2? I'd say 2. I like the Sabrina 2. It looks a little bit more, I don't know, just a little bit more streamlined. You know what I mean? But the Sabrina 1's still an amazing looking shoe. Tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, so the Sabrina 2 feels really similar to the Sabrina 1, which makes sense. You know, they're pretty much using the exact same tooling for the cushion, the traction. They both feel really nice. It's just, we'll have to see how dust performance on the Sabrina 2. Hopefully it is better than the Sabrina 1. However, it is feeling a little bit more supportive for the upper, right? Which of course is a good thing. So that is a little bit of an upgrade. You know what I mean? So because of that, I feel like the Sabrina 2 might be a little bit better than the Sabrina 1. But of course, we'll have to wait and see on the full performance review of the Sabrina 2. But right now, the Sabrina 2 is feeling really nice. And the Sabrina 1, as you guys all know, I really like too. So anyways, that about concludes this video. Again, if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll try to leave the free link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one.